Welcome, folks, to Wisdom and Wit. I'm Jimmy, and I'm here to warm up your funny bones before we get to the main event. Now, let me tell you, I've seen some crazy comebacks in my day, but nothing quite like what we've just witnessed in American politics. 4 years ago, if you told me that Donald Trump would be back in the White House, I'd have said you were crazier than a squirrel in a nut factory during mating season. But here we are, folks. It's like watching a phoenix rise from the ashes, except instead of ashes, it's a pile of MAGA hats and Twitter bans. Now, I'm not one to question the will of the people. Heck, I'm just a simple Louisiana boy who thinks the most complicated decision in life should be choosing between regular or spicy chicken at Popeyes. But I gotta say, this comeback is more impressive than my Uncle Cletus managing to keep his teeth past the age of 40. You know what they say. In politics, there are no permanent victories or defeats, just temporary setbacks. Well, seems like the Democrats had themselves a setback bigger than my Aunt Mabel's behind after Thanksgiving dinner. And let me tell you, that's a sight that'll make you lose your appetite faster than finding a hair in your gumbo. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe the American people just decided they prefer their democracy like they prefer their whiskey, aged, a little rough around the edges, and with a kick that'll make your eyes water. And boy, did we get a kick 4 years ago. Speaking of kicks, remember when everyone was all worked up about January 6th? Well, seems like that's ancient history now. It's like we all collectively decided to treat it like that embarrassing thing you did at your cousin's wedding. We know it happened, but we don't talk about it at family gatherings. I mean, 1 minute it's a day of infamy, the next it's a beautiful day of love. Talk about a glow-up. It's like when my buddy Bubba got his first set of dentures. Suddenly, he's smiling at everyone like he's running for Miss Congeniality. And let me tell you, folks, the way they've rebranded those rioters, tourists, is more impressive than the time my cousin Jethro convinced the whole town he was abducted by aliens after a 3-day bender. Next thing you know, we'll be seeing Capitol Tour 2021 inches t-shirts at the gift shop. But hey, who needs facts when you've got a good story, right? I mean, why let a little thing like reality get in the way of a perfectly good narrative? It's like my grandpappy used to say, boy, if you can't dazzle 'em with brilliance, baffle 'em with bull. And let me tell you, there's been enough bull flying around to fertilize all of Texas. Now, I'm not saying anyone's lying. Heck no. I'm just saying if pants could catch fire from stretching the truth, Washington, D.C. would look like the world's biggest barbecue. And let me tell you, that's a cookout I'd pay good money to see. But you know what? It worked. It worked better than my Uncle Jed's moonshine at curing a cold, or causing one, depending on how much you drink. The American people looked at all this and said, you know what? Let's do it again. It's like going back to your ex because you forgot why you broke up in the first place. Except in this case, the ex is the leader of the free world. And speaking of the world, have you seen how the political landscape has shifted? It's like the whole country decided to take a sharp right turn without using the blinker. We've gone so far right, I'm half expecting us to fall off the edge of the flat earth some folks believe in. The Democrats are scratching their heads harder than a flea-bitten hound dog. They're looking around like a possum caught in the headlights, wondering what hit them. They thought they had it all figured out. We'll just tell everyone democracy is in danger. Well, turns out folks were more worried about the danger to their wallets than to some fancy political system they only think about every 4 years. It's like trying to sell fire insurance to someone whose house is underwater. Sure, it might be important, but right now they're more concerned about learning to breathe like a fish. And let me tell you, the American people have been feeling like they're drowning for a while now. So here we are, folks. The Democrats are back at the drawing board, trying to figure out how to talk to regular folks without sounding like they're reading from a college textbook. Meanwhile, the Republicans are riding high, probably planning to turn the White House lawn into a golf course or something. But hey, that's politics for you. One day you're on top of the world. The next you're lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut. It's like a roller coaster, except instead of screaming in terror, you're screaming at the TV.
Well, folks, that's all the time we've got. But don't you worry, because coming up next, we've got a real treat for you. He's the man of the hour, the comeback kid himself, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for the one, the only Donald Trump.